Why don't we go ahead and formally start the meeting at, what time is it? It is 7:04. Okay. How is everyone?
Good. How are you doing?
Good. Amy, you sent out minutes for last meeting, did you not?
I did, and every one of you in a first time in my time on this committee, everybody got back, and the only change to incorporate was adding the date, and gave me the actual date of the Spring into West Concord Junction event, which I just added the specific date, and otherwise no changes were noted. So I don't know if I even need to show them. I can if you want to. I have them here, but they're just as sent out, and you all said they were okay, and I just added the May 21st date to the note about that event.
Great. So move to approve minutes as distributed.
I second that.
That carries. Okay, good. So Justin, we want to get an update on the planned improvements. Do you want to go ahead and are you prepared to give that presentation?
Yes, I am.
Great. Thank you so much again for coming.
Yeah, no problem. So am I allowed to share my screen? I'll just pull up the plan because it'll just be probably the easiest way to do this.
Yep.
Can everyone see my mouse?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So when we came before the West Concord Advisory Committee in June, we had a different layout for the crosswalks, and we had a presentation prepared, and basically as a result of that meeting, we went back to the original layout. So I'm kind of jumping between two plans here because the crosswalks are a little difficult to see here. So this is probably the best one. So essentially, you can see the existing crosswalk here. We just gave it a curb ramp, so to make it ADA compliant here, and provided a bump out on this side of the roadway. There's an existing crosswalk right here, and we actually moved that to this location just to shorten the crosswalk because the diagonal orientation of it makes it a little longer than it should be. And with crosswalks, the shorter they are, the safer they are. So we provided a bump out over here to also shorten that distance. And with the original design, there was a grass strip that ran basically along the curb line. Basically the commission had provided us some guidance that area would be more useful if it was still concrete and usable by the businesses. So we got rid of that that grass strip. We did incorporate, part of their comments were, it would be nice to have trees. So we did incorporate 2 tree wells in the bump outs because those are the easiest locations for them, and they don't really impede the sidewalk with the full width. So there'll be one here, and there'll also be one located here. Now we can't put them on both sides because they sort of block the visibility of the crosswalk. So with cars, approaching this way, we don't want to have a tree here blocking the crosswalk. So that's why we incorporated them on the other side of the crosswalk to try to provide a little, still provide trees while providing safety. The other question that was raised was related to the light fixtures. And so we've been doing a lot of coordination with CMLP related to what they're going to do with the light fixtures. And there was some question related to if they were going to be able to use the existing conduits under the sidewalks. And they have informed us that they have been. We also sent copies of the lights to the committee for this. And you know, these are basically the decorative lights that CMLP wants to use around town. And, you know, they do look nice, and they've been ordered for this project, and they are to arrive on April 18th, I've been told by CMLP. So, and they're going to be able to basically reuse a lot of the infrastructure, which is good. So that'll save us time wise on this project, because if they were going to have to, you know, relay the entire network for electric lights, it would take a long time. So we did appear before the Commission for Disabilities, and we moved the handicap parking space on this side of the roadway to be right here adjacent to the crosswalk, which is what they requested. So we did incorporate that into the design. So that's one of the design changes that's you know, different from when you saw it the last time. And, you know, and then we also incorporated the sharrows for bike traffic for our complete streets, you know, project. Obviously this road we're keeping 11-foot drive aisles and 8-foot parking aisles, which is, you know, helpful. We just have to rebuild each, you know, sidewalk along this face to make it work that way, and still be ADA compliant, because currently the sidewalks are not ADA compliant with their cross slopes. So these are the final design plans. These are what we're gonna be going out to bid with. We hope to have that bid going out in 2 weeks, I believe. And for construction early in the spring. So as part of this project, so this is the complete streets portion of the project. We are also going to be repaving from Lawsbrook all the way to the right of way of the railroad right here. So that's not necessarily on these plans. We have our own plans for those, but once you get past this area, that they don't show as much. So do you have any questions?
The paving, will that be, when is that expected to be done?
So how the construction is going to work is this, we've identified that this area has to be, it's called a reclamation. So basically they grind down into the base layer. So they pulverize the pavement and grind down into the base layer and then recompact it and then lay. So what that's going to go first, so that we get the roadway into binder course, so that it's still, you know, travel, you know, and then we have to do all our curbing for the sidewalks, and then we'll pour the sidewalks. So, and then we'll do the final pave at the end once all the sidewalks are poured and all the curbs are in place, that type of thing.
Thank you.
And when's the date that this is going to happen? Because people at the mill where I have my studio are going to want to know when this is happening. So what date should we tell people?
So we don't have, so we're waiting. We're going to have a pre-construction meeting, and we're going to, you know, reach out to all the property owners and butters, stuff like that. But we want to make sure that we have a contractor on board before. So we're putting the plans out to bid. We're going to see who wins the bid. And once we get the, you know, the contract awarded, we'll have basically the contractor there for all the meetings with the public. We're hoping to start at least the reclamation in the early spring, so maybe Mayish, I'm thinking, but don't hold me to that date. We still have to negotiate with the contractor when he can start. For us to get our funding for the complete streets portion of this project, we need to be complete by September 30th, 2022.
I see. So you've got a deadline. It has to be done by September 30th, 2022.
Yeah,
okay.
That's when our contract with the state basically expires for them to provide us their portion of the funding.
So if you could just keep us updated, or if you want us to check in with you or Steve monthly, what's the most efficient way for us to do this?
Yeah, we can, I think once we'll obviously update you once we get a contractor on board and we receive bids and stuff like that. And then we would like to proceed with, getting essentially a neighborhood meeting and all the businesses and people affected can, weigh in. Whether it's a Zoom meeting or a on-site meeting, we haven't decided yet, but, obviously we'd be reaching out and let you know those dates, and, anything we can coordinate with you, we'll do so.
I wanted to say, I think this design, the evolution's been fantastic. It looks great. I think it's really good with the bump outs. That's going to slow cars. Adding 2 trees is beautiful. I think the crosswalks are really where they need to be as someone who walks here every day. It's really great. I think Steve Dukran had also said we could maybe attach another crosswalk to this project at the end of, as you go further down to the left on Com Ave, as you then cross to that little traffic island that has what is it called?
So are you
Kenneth
talking?
Dunn Square?
Yeah, right, that little square that he mentioned off the top. He was just saying there might be ability to do it because they're missing crosswalk there, and several people, including people at the Transportation Advisory Committee, have told us it's very, very dangerous.
So you're not talking the one at Church Street, because that is also incorporated into this.
Church Street we saw at the other end.
Yeah.
So there's where cars go really super fast, or where they turn right in, coming in or coming off of Route 2, and then they go to that little garden square that has the brick pathway on it, but absolutely no crosswalk to it. So I think that was one thing he was saying he could maybe add a crosswalk
At Dunn Square. Yeah, I
Yeah.
believe right now we're actually applying for a grant related to that area for funding for that. So obviously we're trying not to attach that to this project, only because this project has the more immediate deadline. But if Steve said that, I'm assuming it's getting worked in.
That'd be awesome. Thank you so much. This is wonderful. And thank you so much for doing this. This is great.
Any other questions? Oh, go ahead, Justin.
I was gonna say we're thankful for your support and gonna rely on, trying to, rely on you guys for reaching out to the businesses, stuff like that with, but, having them understand that we've sort of gone through the process with you guys, to, get everyone's, approval essentially. So.
Oh, go ahead. Oh, sorry, Susan. I was just wondering if there's any chance of, or any possibility of, in connection with this or around the same time, addressing any of the adjacent sidewalks, like for example, the walking up from basically the train crossing, then up past like the youth theater to the library.
So currently with this project, we're already way over planned budget wise. And that has, a lot to with the addition to the concrete instead of the grass strip, stuff like that. We're obviously limited by funding. So, there's more we would like to do. It's just, we're not, funded, and hopefully in the future we can, kind of work, build onto this. But currently we're, our estimate just came in at like just for the sidewalks and what you see here, not the actual paving portion, at $327,000. So when we came before you back in June, it was $265,000, I believe. So it's already expanded pretty heavily. So I think this is what we're going to get for this portion of the project. I'm sorry.
And in terms of project outline, once you start, can we say it'll be 4 weeks, or can it be 8 weeks, or is it something you can't predict?
So we'll need to have the contractor on board to predict that, because they we give them that they have to have it done by the September date, but when they do it is really on their schedule, and that's why we want them on board before we reach out to the public, just because they know when they're going to do it and when they have the manpower and the availability, that type of thing. So
thanks for explaining it.
Yep.
Justin, is there details that you have on other slides, like for instance, the ramps on to the crosswalks? I thought I saw a drawing.
Yeah,
Are there any
there's
details you want to draw out?
there's a so each one of these details are drawn out, and yeah, so TEC they prepared these plans for us. If you want to see the details of these rounding areas, you can see this one right here is equivalent to this one right here. This one right here is right here, and then further down on the detail sheet a little, sorry, I'm jumping around a little bit just because that's the nature of it, but the bump outs are this ramp configuration here, and then basically where there's driveways and stuff, there's these ramps. So they're all ADA compliant. And here's also the new crosswalk that we're installing on Church Street on the other side of the the railroad crossing.
Hey, that's
So,
super.
Oh, that's great. And the crosswalks, are they all painted crosswalks?
yes, they're all painted. So our town standard is that we do the ladder configuration on the major streets, the bars on the side streets, just because it both saves us money, and then we think it kind of looks better.
And are there those sort of stand-up crosswalk signs in the middle of the street? They're kind of like, fluorescent.
Yeah, so police,
Yeah.
the police put them out every spring and then pick them back up in the fall before plowing season.
Okay,
They can incorporate these here.
I got it.
Does this plan incorporate the money that I think the Brookside Square developer was supposed to throw in for bump outs, et cetera?
It does. Their money was in an escrow, and we're using the remainder of that for this project. So
Right.
it also was paying for the design fees for TEC.
So, and then related to the light assembly that you showed, are those basically replacing the lights that are going to need to be taken out when the sidewalk paving happens? I wasn't sure if they were in addition to what's already there or if they're replacing them.
No, they're going to replace every one along this roadway. They'll all be in the same location, just because that's where the connection is, and we don't need to redo the infrastructure. So.
Any other questions for Justin?
I have one more. I saw a town survey being done about painted crosswalks in Concord Center. That was going to be like some sort of paint application that mimicked brick. I saw it on the town's Instagram and Twitter, and it showed different drawings of what that might look like in Concord Center. And I was wondering if that was considered as a possibility for these crosswalks or not, or if you even know what I'm talking about.
I believe I know what you're talking about. So I think those crosswalks are going to be under a trial to see how well they hold up. So that's one of the other things is we know how long paint lasts. We don't know how long, and because those are much more expensive, we want to do it typically. So we did a trial already of thermoplastic paint, which is different than the regular paint you see, just to see if it saves the town money. I think Marcia has her hand up related to the. Let you go ahead, Marcia.
Not necessarily to this. That is part of a grant application that we're seeking some additional funding, shared streets and spaces grant, similar to what was done to get the bike shares in and some improvements on Old Marlborough Road. So we're hopeful that we can try this and test it. I don't know if it will be approved by the Historic Districts Commission, but it's an experiment to try to improve some safety in the Concord Center location. But my question had to do with the design of the lamp posts. I know CMLP is ordering them, I'm assuming, but I didn't see the detail of whether there is an arm extension for the flower pots that are have
So
been,
I believe Jeff talked to me about this. I believe that they are having that incorporated into this light pole. I think it might be this little thing right here. I'm not
Okay.
sure. But Jeff did say that they were planning on doing that.
okay, thank you.
Jeff is from CMLP.
What is there now for lights? I can't picture it. Is there nothing?
They're
there? What is-
older light fixtures. I could try to pull it up on Google Maps really quick if needed.
Well, suffice to say, this is an improvement, though, I would say. 'Cause I can't even think of what it is.
Nondescript.
So here's one right here.
I think you have to stop sharing and then share again.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I forgot. I can't switch screens again. Sorry. So here's one of them. There's another one right here. So they're in the bases and stuff are in great condition. The lights that they're proposing are essentially the standard decorative ones that they're incorporating around town, so that it's consistent with their the town's approved light fixtures. So
Mhm, mhm.
here, I'll jump back to the plans here. You guys are testing my Zoom skills.
Other questions for Justin? If not, I have my thanks. And we'll look forward to updates and hearing about the selection process and getting started.
Yeah, great. Thank you guys very much.
Thank you.
Have a great evening.
You too. Thanks. We have next on the agenda introductions and liaisoning with the Transportation Advisory Committee. And I can't remember who asked to have this on here, if somebody has more insight into that.
It might have been me, because I went to the meeting and they're a new committee. They're very dynamic and they're very interested in working with us. And they're looking at all kinds of things. And I did tell them we had that walkabout in the fall, and we put together with Susan and Amy, with a bunch of us, we put together a number of different versions of shared Google Slides. And so the idea was, they did say they'd love to see our shared Google Slides where we talked about missing crosswalks, where we talked about speed limits that are very difficult for bicyclists and pedestrians to understand. And we talked about signage and how we can work together to make the cultural district as accessible and safe as going to Rockport, as going to Northampton. I mean, there are all kinds of cultural districts which really are exploiting their status and make it really easy, if you're not from there, to hang out there and go and shop. I just had that experience at Rockport. I ended up buying mittens, but it was just so easy. I didn't even want mittens, but it's just so easy to go shop there. It was so obvious where it was. They've got their signs up. They've got very low speed limits. It was clear even in the winter. This summer place is for tourists to walk around. And that's kind of the same kind of thing we want in West Concord. So I did pull up something. I think they know the Transportation Advisory Committee is just getting going. They've got a lot of dynamism, and they wanted to see all the ideas we've collected. So we have so many of them. I pulled up one of them. I guess we can go through it really quickly, and then we can just forward it to them. This is just a draft of ideas, right? Because a lot of people, we put a lot of man hours into this, guys. And we don't need them to, they can definitely recreate it, but they need to know what we already did. They could build on it.
Right.
And they'd never seen it. And before I sent it to them, I wanted to, their next meeting, I think, is on Monday. But so if you want, I could pull up one of the recent ones. We can go through it now, or whatever you want to do. I shared with you all if you want me to share screen, what WCAC Bike Ped Goals, March 2022. I just kind of relabeled a former, one of our former slide decks.
I don't have control over getting you presentation.
Okay, let's see. Can I? share-
Yeah, she should be able to do it.
I can share the screen.
Yes. You should
Okay.
be able to.
Let's see. Let's see if it lets me do it. Whoa, it's going all blank. Let's try again.
It looked like.
It looks like it's working. There we go, guys. How about this? Can you guys see
Yeah.
anything?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Can you see?
Yes.
So this was the first thing West Concord, we put a lot of effort in this. I mean, Amy did, but when she was still on the committee and a bunch of other. So this is just a rough draft of ideas we had to improve walking and biking in West Concord. And there's a certain urgency because, as I believe is the case, in July, the bridge over the rail trail opens. And we expect more people to be taking it and heading to West Concord. As
Also, can I add to that? At the cultural district meeting last night, they talked a lot about a walking tour they're putting together, and they're hoping to get like kind of on the radar of the town, like the visitor center. And it would be focused on industry in West Concord, and it would be tied into this mural that they're doing. But if they do that, which they hope to launch in September, I think, if that actually happens and becomes like a town kind of endorsed walking tour, then that could also be a source of more people coming and walking around the junction.
Yeah, that's huge. Marcia, you have your hand up.
Yes, I do, because the select board is actually having a conversation with the Transportation Advisory Committee and others that is focused on transportation on Monday, March 14th. It's one of the select board focused conversations. So put it on your calendars if this is something of interest to you. I think their meetings start at 6:30. I don't know. You'll have to check the agenda on if they're going to do any work in it beforehand, or if it's going to start at 6:30 or 7. I don't know, but it's that night.
So this is perfect. So because this is exactly what, this is great, Martha. This is Marcia. This is perfect. This is the bridge we wanted to do, and we want to present the TAC with all the work we've done. They can work, they can do whatever they want with it, but I think the idea was to eventually present it to the select board. And first we present it to all the select board. So why do we care? The picture of the, of the cultural district. We don't have to have all these in here, but this just shows the history of what we did, all the people who were part of it. And then identify key areas for improvements, signage, reducing speeds. And the big idea, this is the big idea. When I went to Northampton recently, when I went to another cultural district, Rockport, most recently, it's a very coherent experience. I don't know Rockport at all. And yet I was able to walk with my husband all around for a really long time and have a good time. And so we need to have that kind of coherent experience. We need to encourage that here. And right now we don't quite have it, but we can have it because we have fantastic stuff here. So areas for improvements, crosswalks. I think this is there are all kinds of, this is a crosswalk that just went in near Concord Museum. Also a new crosswalk just went in West Acton. Their cultural district just put one of these in West Acton, and they actually narrowed a street in their cultural district to make it safer for walkers and bikers. So I think a lot of things we've saved, but in some ways it doesn't have to be perfect. We can show everything we've collected and they can do what they want with it. Gaps in sidewalk, and people have spent a lot of time putting this together. Overly wide curb cuts. Biking.
It could be good for us to get a new screenshot of the complete streets work that Justin was just talking about, because there is a slide where I had grabbed an old screenshot, and it could be nice if that was more updated.
Why don't you update it? Update it. Why don't you do it? You have access. All of the current members have access. I think there's a long-term goal. The short-term goal was to make the junction really accessible and walkable the way it is like in Rockport. But the long-term goal was to create connections for bikes to people not have to drive from the junction to Concord Center, another cultural district. I think there are only 6 towns in the Commonwealth with 2 cultural districts. And we're one of them. We should be able to walk and bike there without getting in a car. And that's the long-term goal. The first goal is to get West Concord really working. but we thought we wanted to express that because it's something that TAC needs to look at. And that's, you know, areas for improvement signage. So this is the Rockport Cultural District sign that they have out. And look at this, we got Washington Creative District ahead. A lot of these people are saying that, like, where do we need to have, I think, a group meeting about where should we put the sign so there's not signage clutter. Should cultural districts have a certain speed limit? Right now, there is a 20-mile-per-hour speed limit, but it starts in front of the old 99 and it ends like, you know, not far from where the fencing store is. So maybe it's a little bit too limited, the 20-mile-per-hour now, but it's something we need to really look at, I think. Lack of gateway signage and lack of gateway speed limits. This is a huge thing. The speed limit changes 5 times on Main Street from Route 2 to the old 99, 0.7 of a mile. This is unenforceable, a Cambridge planner told me. It's also dangerous. You can't have the speed limit change every 1/10 of a mile. It doesn't work. And it doesn't, and the drivers don't understand. They're going to be anticipating a heavy pedestrian bike area. But we can fix all that. So next steps are basically, you know, working with all these other people. Maybe put in the updated, putting updated, what you were just saying, our great streets coming, a great new
Complete streets.
complete streets coming in.
Yeah.
This is interesting. This I found, they're doing that. This is like this is non-brick, but painted. This is, I saw, where did I see this in Massachusetts? I'll tell you, remind me where I took it. I'll think of it in a second. The one below is right near Fenway Park with the actual bricks. The one here is in Central Mass, right above. So a lot of people are using, you're seeing this brick stuff being used to designate an important, it's a signifier now. That's what's really happening. It's becoming a signifier of a pedestrian zone. That's what I'm seeing happening. This is in Grafton. This is in Grafton, the one on top, painted on around their central area. That's, so anyway, but so I think it, oh, and this is the brand new one where they, look what they did, the bump out they made, really interesting. This just happened this past year in West Acton. And this is all new. They created the bump out, they narrowed the street, kind of like what we're doing in our complete streets. And they made a nice brick sidewalk for the West Acton Cultural District. Again, that's Grafton, Town Center, West Acton. And then what's really interesting is some towns are doing public education, where Cambridge did this last year. 75% of their streets are now 20 miles per hour. And then they did a public education thing with, look at all these languages here, 8 different languages, telling people this, they put it on all over. So this idea that I think in a way, our cultural district, we have an opportunity to do public education around it. I'm not quite sure what I should say. This is the background science of that you can't have speed and safety, but a lot of towns are publicizing this now. If you're hit by a car 25 miles per hour, your chance of death is 5%. Going 30 miles, it's 45, going 40, it's 85. That's the problem. Well, that's why I think these stats is why Cambridge has made speed limits 20 miles per hour on 75% of their roads. The fact is the science doesn't change in Concord. It's the same science. In Cambridge, they're actively basing their road signage on that science. All right. And the rest of this can be, you know, it's about safe. A lot of this you don't need, but it's just, oh my God. And these towns, Lexington, Bedford, you know, whatever. I think a lot of details here, but we could just forward it to them. They might find it interesting. I don't really know. I think you just say this is a grassroots effort that we've started so far and something we could just forward to them. We'd love to work with them to get safe, improved walkability for all. That's basically it.
I think we should encourage them to take any of the pictures or the slides in their entirety and put them into their presentation to the select board if it is on topic for what they're planning on talking about, because that'll hopefully help them to not have to gather the information themselves, and also will assist in getting the message across.
I don't think that's the purpose of the discussion.
Oh, okay. What do you think? What is the purpose?
I don't know, but if you've gone to some of the other, they have open-ended conversations and they get input from a variety of different people. So that's why I'm saying that it might be important for one of you to go and say this information is available and share and just refer where it is. You don't necessarily need to do a presentation, but to say the information is available. We felt it was really important and this is what we've done so far.
Yeah, I think that's a great idea, Marcia. I just think they should know. I think we should just, what I'd like to do is just give this to the TAC. This is a beginning. We have a lot of public input already. You can get more public input, but I think the interest in safe biking, safe walking is going to grow. I'm also interested in the aging population as a baby boomer in the aging group. I think making it safe for people to walk as they get older is really huge.
It seems to me like, based on what Marcia's saying, though, I cannot attend a Monday 6:30 meeting based on my work schedule, but it seems like instead of just putting it all on TAC, I'm fine with sharing this with TAC so that it can guide their own discussions about all of these issues, but it might make sense for someone from our group to go and throw our support behind this idea or offer our own experience to that meeting that she's talking about with the select board.
That's a great idea, Amy. I can't do it because I teach that night, but if anyone else can do it.
I can go and anyone else is welcome to as well.
And you could even point to your website where you have the 2021 idea board posted. So if you want to post up more, you could put more out there just to let them know that it's out there and available.
That's great.
So often there's information available on the town's website and nobody knows about it. And so if rather than clog up people's emails and sending all these pieces, if you can send them a link, it can be advantageous to get the information out.
Yep. Okay. That's a great idea.
Now, are we planning on having a liaison to the Transportation Advisory Committee?
Yeah, I signed up for that.
Okay.
And so I guess what I'd like to move is, can we move to send this draft? This is a draft thing of slides. It's a working document, but can we move? I did suggest to them we could send them something, but I wanted your approval before I did it. So is it okay? Are you okay with me sending it to the chair and then he can do what he wants with it?
Along with the link to the source on the website.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
I could do that. Is that okay, guys?
Yeah, that's fine with me. If this slideshow is not on the website, it might make sense to get it on the website.
That's a brilliant idea, Amy. I hadn't thought about that.
Yeah, I think it was Marcia's. I'll credit Marcia with being my inspiration, or else I just stole her idea with that she said.
How do
But
we get things on the website?
that I'm not sure about.
I think we just give them to Marcia.
Yeah.
Yes.
Is that right?
yes.
Yeah.
But that makes her email box insane. Is there something?
You have no idea.
So do we need to make a motion to send this to the Transportation Advisory Committee? And
second it. Does someone else want a second?
Just to be clear, I think Marcia's point is like, don't even send them the file, only send them the link, because the point is that like it's really easy to just forward the link around to other people and it might disseminate the information better and more efficiently.
Thank you,
Right?
John.
Is that
I
what?
should send the link to
So we
Marcia.
so we should have the motion reflect that.
So the motion should be to provide this to Marcia so that it can be placed on our website. And once
Okay.
that is done, the link to that should be shared with TAC.
That's right.
Yeah.
I second that.
Okay, so it's called the WCAC Bike Ped Goals March 2022. Is everyone okay with that title?
why don't you have it as a draft?
Draft, I'll add draft, okay? So the title now is, hold on. WCAC Bike Ped Goals March 2022 draft. That's the title. And right now, the only people I've shared it with are people on the WCAC committee. But I can share it with Marcia and I can also send a link to Marcia directly now. Is that what I should do?
But you should-
I think you need to share it with
You-
anyone who has the link because that'll make it accessible to people outside of our committee.
It's now done. It's now anyone who has the link. I've
Perfect.
done that, changed. Next.
Well, I think Marcia's gonna put it on the website and give you a new link to the website.
Right.
So
We're
I'll
not
share
gonna
it
use the
with
Google
Marcia?
Docs link. You're just gonna send her the document. We're just gonna publish it on the website.
Oh, this is awesome, guys. Marcia Rasmussen. I just shared it with Marcia.
Okay.
Okay, and do I need to send you anything, Marcia? Want me to send you the link right now?
I need to understand this, okay, I've got the Google Slides. So I should be able to download this and get it posted tomorrow or Friday. So yes, this is good.
Yep.
And it'll be on our website, our page.
And I can add it to the webpage, the town's webpage, that is West Concord Advisory Committee.
And so we'll have that link and that's what we'll send on.
Yes.
That will be awesome. Thank you, Marcia.
Great. All
We didn't
right.
actually vote on that motion.
How are
We
we
acted
working
on it.
so efficiently? This is amazing, guys. I'm really excited
Do you
about
need us, do we need to vote on that?
I don't, yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Well, it's up to, I seconded the motion, I guess.
I moved, John seconded.
Vote to send the link to Marcia, send the document to Marcia to be put on the website and then shared with Transportation Advisory Committee.
I approve.
So do I. Who else?
Yeah,
Oh, I approve.
John? Yeah. No.
I approve.
Good. Okay, we're all unanimous. Wonderful. So I'm not sure the best person to give the update on the Bruce Freeman Rail Trail Subcommittee. I did attend the whole thing. I think Marcia might, I think Marcia was there as well. So anybody else was there, please feel free to jump in. I thought it was well done, well attended, kind of an update on the short-term and long-term goals of the committee. They got quite a bit of feedback. We're planning on having a second committee when they present some of their more detailed plans as they subcommittee continues to work through. I think there was general consensus on a lot of the concerns. There was some, I think, well pointed out, some good information pointed out that there actually has not been reported an injury in that area due to bikes or wheeled vehicles. And obviously we want to keep track of that, but there was a little bit of concern that there's a solution seeking a problem. I think that was a minority view, but it was important to note that that was there. And I think that will probably be taken into consideration as they move on to their longer term plans. But I think there was generally some a good deal with the well-attended meeting, a good deal of interest in doing something to improve the perception and actual safety in that area. So anybody else who attended, or Marcia, you have any comments?
I don't, but Tracy Hansen is from the Bruce Freeman Rail Trail Advisory Committee and is on the subcommittee. So she helped organize that public forum. So
I didn't see her here, Tracy. I'm sorry. Go.
Oh, that's okay. Sure. Yeah, I think you gave a great update. So hi, everyone. I'm Tracy Hansen. I live at 77 Hill Street. I'm one of your neighbors, I'm sure. Yeah, so you gave a great update. We had a public forum on, feels like a while ago, a couple of weeks ago, and now we did have 53 people attend, which we were happy with. Previously, we had done a survey and we got over 500 responses, and so I've got some great feedback. I feel like we've done a good job of representing most of the opinions amongst the town. So what I just wanted to make sure everybody was aware of is we also have our own website, the Bruce Freeman Rail Trail Advisory Committee. And up there, we have posted all the survey results, as well as the analysis that our subcommittee did. We put together a slide deck showing the park as it is today. Of course, Junction Park is the area between 7-Eleven on one side and Club Car Cafe on the other, and 99 is across the street from it. So it's that little park right there. And I'm not sure if everybody's aware of this or not, so I'll just give you the scoop. So as Anne had said, in July, the bridge connecting Acton and West Concord with the rail trail will be open. And at that point, we expect a lot more traffic. And right now, people are already confused about where to go, myself included. It's just not clear where to go if you're trying to stay on the rail trail. And if you're pedestrian, it just feels like people are in your way. If you're on your feet, it feels like the bikes are in the way. If you're on a bike, it feels like the people are in your way. So it's not well construed or organized right now. So we're planning to change that. And we have until June to present both a short-term and a long-term plan. And The idea for the short-term plan that we presented is basically keep the existing footprint and just clarify where the rail trail goes. And then the long-term plan is essentially completely changing everything about, well, everything, changing at least on a greater scale, the footprint of the park and ideally separating out the rail trail from pedestrian traffic. So that's where we're headed. I encourage everybody to check out the website and check out the survey results. The key concepts we put together. Our next meeting for Bruce Freeman Rail Trail Advisory Committee has actually been pushed a couple weeks out to March 17th, which I believe is a Thursday at 7 p.m. And then we do have our next public forum planned for April, if I have that correct. So thank you, everybody.
I believe Dory Kehoe is here and she had some great ideas. I don't know if she wants to present them or talk about them, but.
Thank you very much, Anne. I'm happy to do so. And can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, oh, good. I'm part of the group that designed the park, which is there in place now. And that was started way back in 2007 when Public Works approached the very new Green Thumbs. We're the ones, by the way, that do all the hanging baskets. The baskets started before the Green Thumbs, and that's been a very successful change in West Concord. But before I do anything, I want to thank you all for the thoughts of what you're doing now to make West Concord a much more even attractive and easily accessible place. I moved here over 50 years ago, and West Concord was not the place that it is now. It was definitely over on the other side of Route 2. And I think that it's really coming into its own, and we're all delighted to see that, really. So thank you all for all the work you're doing. But just to say, and Tracy has been one of the women who's been working so hard as a co-chairs of this whole forum business, which is not an easy task. So far, as she says, there has been no accidents, which is really wonderful. But this park area is what Chris Whalen, our former town manager, described as being the best used public space in Concord, not for the numbers, but for the variety of people. So the aged from Concord Park Assisted Living, the little kids from the Children's Center, the people who are there for the kids who run down to get their candy and come back from the 7-Eleven, which is fun to watch actually on a Tuesday afternoon. It is a very happening place. And so we want it to continue to be safe when the number of bikes increases exponentially. So when the bridge, as we say, is finished in this summer, which we expect mid-July, and it could be before that. And that will bring people from Lowell going all the way to the end of the trail, which now is at the Sudbury line. And so we're not talking about whether it was safe then, it's making it safe when it happens. And I think the point that Tracy made is that this forum was very successful. And it seems one of the common denominators is having separate pathways for both the bikes and for the pedestrians, because mixing and mingling doesn't work for either one. And so we're working on that process now. And I'm very happy that at the meeting of the Bike Trail Advisory Committee last night, that there was a clear sense from the part of the members participating, and it was just Tracy and her co-chair and the chair of the committee, that there needs to be a looking to the town and the expertise of what we have in the town before ideas get into, let's say, oh, let's try this, let's try that. The committee is only obligated and promised to supply conceptual plan. And so I'm very encouraged to find that there is going to be, and I was hoping that both the director and Steve Dukran would be here from Public Works, and I hope that maybe the engineer is here, the assistant engineer, can pass it back, because I think, Tracy, and you'll agree with me, that there was a sense last night of let's go to the experts who know what can be done and where can this go with the least effect and the least damaging effect. That to me is one of the most really happy movements forward. There's a lot to be done between now and when the bike trail opens, when the bridge, as we say, is completed. And so I think that will be a really good step, because there are ideas suggested. Where can the bikes go? And it is the Department of Transportation owns that land. It is on a 99-year lease to the town of Concord. And it's a very unclear situation. It was unclear years ago when the Public Works approached the Green Thumbs and said, would you like us to help design this park? And the question of what about bikes? Oh, that's being taken care of. And so we wish how we all wish for different things. We all wish that we could go back and turn the clock back and say, let's put this in place now. So much is being done in a very short time frame. And I think you all will agree, and certainly the Bruce Freeman Rail Trail people who have been working it really inordinately hard have agreed that when the bikes come over, we need to have some way of saying, this is for bikes, this is for pedestrians, and which side this can go on or where it can go is really something to be determined. But there's much thought going on. And I am so delighted that I hope that Public Works will be willing to take on what I believe we're going to be asking them, as well as talking with the people from the Mass DOT and the bike people. They know what is required or what their minimums are. So I feel like it's really moving ahead, but gosh, it's a huge project. And I really cannot thank the group enough who are working on this, who really are. And they're just inundated with suggestions, and they've been inundated with ideas, and the forum that was done, and then the questionnaire. So I hope we all realize that one thing to me is absolutely clear. We are all going to have to give. And so what the Green Thumbs designed with the park, that's going to have to be probably adjusted. It is. And what the bike people might want to have, that's going to have to be adjusted. We're going to have a compromise. That's not an easy thing, but I think we all realize that what's at stake is really the center of West Concord and the safety of the people who use it. So thank you so much for letting me have a chance to talk. I encourage you all to come to the next forum. I guess, Tracy, you said, I guess it's going to be in April.
Yeah, the next public forum will be in April, but you're all welcome to attend our next meeting as well, which is March 17th. March 17th.
And do go, because it's a group that's willing to listen. And you know, that's kind of not such a common thing. So it's go and get your ideas together and let them put it all together. And now I feel a lot better knowing that people who have the expertise to say, no, you can't move the bioretention area, or hey, you've got to watch that and move this or do that. The people who really know what they're talking about are now going to get involved, and it's time for that, and that's a really positive sign.
Yeah, Marcia's actually planning a field trip for us to go meet the town employees and get their ideas. So we're doing that in a few weeks.
Dory, I want to thank you for your excellent work on this. It's just so inspiring. And I think something you hit on is the answer. If you go to countries like Copenhagen, which have worked on safe bikeability and walkability for 40 years, the first thing you noticed in Copenhagen is exactly what you nailed, which is it's really separate. It's really clear where the bikes are, and it's really clear where the pedestrians are. And even if you're next to each other, like on a bridge in Copenhagen Center crossing, it's really clear. I don't even speak Danish, and I knew where I, as a pedestrian, was supposed to go. And I also knew no biker would interfere. It was really amazing. So that's the problem, but you nailed it. It has to be clear where the bikers go, clear where the pedestrians go. That's exactly what it has to be.
Dory and Tracy, thank you so much. Anybody else have any comments before we move on to our next Bruce Freeman Rail Trail discussion? Okay.
You're taking over the whole meeting.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm going to suggest, unless, Ann, you've worked something else out, if you want to review your letter. I did review it. I didn't have any major changes. So I'm not sure if you want to share what you have.
I can find it. I can find it. You guys are excellent editors. You're the best editors in the world. I had some excellent edits. You guys made excellent suggestions. I tried to incorporate everything.
I noticed I didn't get a chance to read closely the revisions. I had it on my phone earlier and then got distracted, but I'm pretty sure I noticed one missing period. So if you can put it up, I can point it out to you.
Okay, let me put it up. The wrong letter came up. Let me see if I can find it. Here we go. 3-2 WCAC. I think I found it. Okay, I found it in my, let me try to share screen. I'm sharing screen now. Do you guys see it?
Not yet.
Not yet.
Stop the share and try again. It didn't like me. Let's try again. Oh my gosh, why is it doing this? Oh, let's see. Interesting. Let's try again. It keeps showing up on my screen, but not on yours. Okay,
There you go.
There it is.
okay. Do you guys see it?
Yes.
Okay. So we wanted to thank BFRT members for attending our West Concord Junction walkabout last fall. It was most helpful. We have shared your important input on improving public safety for pedestrians, bikers in the junction with the Concord Public Works Director Alan Cathcart and Town Engineer Steve Dukran during a recent meeting with them last month as well. Thank you again. Speaking about improving safety, both residents committee members brought up the issue of plowing part of the BFRT for safe access during the winter months at the February meeting. Do you want me to just shut up?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, no. You're a fast reader.
You added the suggestion I made about the displacing them to other roads in there, right?
Yeah, it's in there.
Yes.
Yeah, it's the next. We've already, it's there. I tried to include everyone's comments. They were all great.
Did you fix my last name at the bottom?
I sure did, Mr. Cooley.
Coley. Coley.
Susan, did I get your last name right?
I
don't
think
even
so.
think
Usually it would
Susan
jump
can
out at
tell.
me if you didn't. Let's
Yeah,
see.
At Cooley, somehow we forgot an E at one point. I really apologize. But you-
And
Can you,
I'm not
can you
sure if
scroll
it-
up just a tiny bit so I can see the last paragraph on that previous
Yeah.
page? Perfect.
I can make
Thank
it
you.
larger.
I think it's after, so the first sentence of that paragraph that has the clause set off by dashes,
Oh,
after the
yeah.
words winter months, you're missing a period. That's what.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go. Thank you. God, you're good. How did you get eyes like that?
That's it's what I do every day.
Oh, you are so good.
And can you scroll down to the bottom again, please?
Oh, and one more in that paragraph. You have it in where it should be it. I'm sorry, Jeff.
No, go ahead.
It's halfway down the line begins trail knowing. And the next word should be it.
Okay, we realize the town approved the trail knowing it and not it. Thank you. You're better than
That's-
spell check.
That's it.
I better make sure to save this.
And then the only change I was gonna mention is I'm not sure technically, it doesn't make any difference. I don't know if there is technically an acting chair, but I'm acting chair, not chair.
Acting chair,
Yeah, I believe so.
is that correct?
No, just no dash. Just
No
space.
dash, yeah.
Oh, Dash? How about that?
Yeah.
I would usually, I think you want to capitalize titles.
Capitalize it?
Yeah,
Okay, yeah,
both
that
of
makes it
them.
sound more important.
Yeah,
Just
exactly.
holding a seat, making it warm for John, nothing else.
Yeah,
And then we did put in this picture, which I thought was nice.
Oh, that's a great picture. I love that picture.
It was really icy that day and pretty scary.
but that's how it is all winter. It's not
It
just
is.
like a fluke. I mean, it's like that. It's like not even like you. If it's gonna be like that, they should almost like rope it off and say, don't come here. It's so dangerous.
So, okay, guys, so do you want to look at it one more time and then I'll just send it? Or what do I do next?
Well, we have to make a motion to approve the letter.
Wait, before we do that, just there's one more change. The word director in the first paragraph should be capitalized because
Yep.
it's a person's
Public
title.
Works Director.
Yeah.
Mhm.
You were right, because town engineer was capitalized, so director has.
Exactly. Yes.
Thank you.
Other
Okay, go ahead.
changes?
And this is how the second page reads. We'd be happy to explore options.
Yeah, I think in that first sentence, it should say including bringing. No, on the second page.
Page.
The
First
top of the
paragraph.
second page, after the comma, including bringing the topic.
Oh, that's a much better idea. Very good. You're a good writer, girl.
Thanks, you're great for my ego.
No, but I do writing too, and I haven't ever presented anything to so many writers before.
I'll make a motion to approve as amended, as edited.
I second that.
All right. So Tracy, you can just take this with you if you're here.
Do we all
No,
need
it
to
looks
say we
great.
approve, or I'm not sure if we,
Yeah,
we
we
should vote. So I approve the motion.
I approve also.
I approve.
as I do, unanimous. Great. Thank you all for that.
What happens with it now?
We're sending it on to the to the Bruce Freeman Rail Trail Committee.
Okay.
And then does it go in our file somewhere or something? Do I send it somewhere?
Will it be put on the website?
I think it would be because the other letters we've written are also posted on our website.
I've noticed that it seems like most, but not all, are on there. I'm not sure if they all get on there, but
Do we have to make a request for that, Marcia? Do you happen to know?
Usually you do. So I can make sure that my staff takes care of that, but we can have that happen.
Thank you.
So I have this letter now on my laptop. Where do I send it next? Who do I
Send it to me.
Okay.
Send it to Marcia.
Yet again.
Yes. I will forward it to staff so that they will post it.
Okay.
And we'll forward it to Nat Welch, who is the chair. Actually, Nat Welch and Richard Follander, they're co-chairs of the Bruce Freeman Rail Trail
So you will
Advisory
take
Committee.
charge of that. So I will just
Yeah.
forward it to you. Thank you. I'm
Yes.
sorry to make this to your inbox.
Nope, that's no problem.
Thank you. So next we have follow up on quick wins for West Concord Junction, the very comprehensive document and work that the team put together. So is this Susan or Ann going to take the lead on this, or how do we want to do this?
I think some of what we've talked about so far is encompassed in that follow-up, in that Ann's liaising with the Transportation Advisory Committee on some of the items that we identified. Public Works is seemingly proceeding forward with the complete streets updates. I think if we attend this select board meeting to kind of understand what the Transportation Committee is bending the select board's ear about, it might help us further figure out how we need to work with all these other committees to advance improvements in West Concord.
Yeah, I think what we need is kind of like I saw Cambridge do this. They had this idea. I don't know how they branded it exactly, whether it was Safe Streets or something, and then all the committees were into it. So we kind of almost need to brand this as something we're doing in 2022, in part because the bridge is opening, but I don't know if it's pedestrians first or safe walking and biking or promoting walking, but we tell all the committees know what we're doing and are all into it. So it's not just the Bruce Freeman Rail Trail, but also the Cultural District Committee knows about it. And the Planning Board knows about it. And the Select Board, they know about we're having this initiative for coherent, safe walkability and bikeability. And then we invite everybody in. So that's the thing. Right now, it seems hard to bridge committee interests. I mean, the Select Board kind of do it, but they're kind of overwhelmed with a million things. So we need what we need is like a marketing brand for what we're doing.
So that would be a really good thing to share with on that Monday, the 14th. So if you can't be there, put it in writing.
Yeah, so we're branding 2022 as safe. I don't know what, I don't want to, someone said to me, oh, Ann, don't say pedestrian first, people will hate that. Say, we need a branding. And so that the Planning Board can help us. The Transportation Advisory Committee can help us. Everybody can do it. We're all doing it together. We've got the 2022 date. So I don't know what we call it, guys. What do we call it? So everybody can buy in, In a way, the complete streets, it's a brand, and towns all over the United States now are buying in. It's a brand, but this is something a little different. It's it's not really only complete streets. It's.
Do we want to say that the scope is not only West Concord, but also Concord Center, and have that big sort of a brand that covers all of that? Or we could always brand it something like West Concord Walkability, or do something that's very focused on the junction, for instance.
Or maybe it's, you know, what you just said, maybe it's West Concord Walkability for our time, or maybe it's walking in our time, because this idea that we're in different times now, where there'll be a lot more bikers, a lot more walkers, a lot more aging Concordians, you know, more people over the age of 75. West Concord walking in a new.
Is
something
the
like-
branding of it something that maybe it just makes sense to wait until someone goes to this March 14th thing and then hears what is like what everyone else is thinking, how they respond, what questions they ask, and then if everybody's like right away all thinking like we're thinking, then coming up with a snappy name for it is something we can worry about later, or maybe not at all because everybody's just going to be doing it. Or if there's kind of like just a focus to the conversation, then that can direct us.
Well, I think we can wait till, I can't go to that meeting, and I think it's fine if we wait, but I think having this idea to bring everyone together about safe walking.
It seems like people are focusing on it just based on that survey about Concord Center, like that, the questions, there were only 3 questions in that survey, but they were very much in line with the discussions we've been having about making the space like a pedestrian friendly, like, you know, accessible area for people. It's the same things we've been talking about. So it seems like people beyond us are considering how to accomplish this in different parts of town. So it might be that there's a lot of like-minded people expressing
Right,
their
it's a lot,
views
or
there
maybe
too.
we could call it walking well in West Concord, starting it there and then bringing it to Concord, walking well, and that includes biking, something well, you know, and that includes finding money for sidewalk repairs and walking well. I don't know. I don't think we can come up with it maybe today, but I think we should do it, because I think listening to the BFRT people, listening to the TAC people, we're all going at it, but not realizing it. We're all thinking the same thing, and we all bring some slightly, each committee brings something slightly different. So we need to get it all together as one, you know.
And so what would be a good way to harmonize what all these different committees are doing? Is it that we need to set up like an open, you know, Zoom where a lot of the public can attend? Is it that we would set up a cadence of meetings that all of these committees go to? I'm just trying to figure out, is there an analogy for another initiative in the town where there have been multiple committees needing to collaborate on something?
I think what you're talking about is the purpose of the 14th meeting.
Okay.
And
Okay.
from that, there will be some directionality.
Well, let's wait till that then.
I think you're grappling with something that is, you are focused totally on West Concord, but all of these other groups who are being invited to the 14th come from their separate perspectives. And so it's everybody getting together, seeing what energy and synergy there is there. And then from that, we can move forward.
Okay.
Through whatever avenues that might be presented.
I think that's the way to go, Marcia. That's fine. And I just realized I stopped teaching at 6:30, so maybe I could go.
I think you should definitely tune in, Anne. I mean, I'll still go, but I think it would be great if you did as
Let's
well.
do it. And because I think this initiative of safe walking and safe walking for all ages, because parents have told me, I told you this on Old Marlborough Road where I live, they have 3 kids under the age of 12, and they're afraid to allow their daughters to walk or bike to any public place. And that's terrifying, you know. And so we need to really look at that. I know the Transportation Advisory Committee, they're also thinking of doing a survey about how safe people feel walking in Concord, but they haven't figured it out yet. So I'll try to attend with you on 6:30. My class will be ending. I think I can just zone in.
Great.
Great. So that's our next step.
Yeah, and I think Marcia's absolutely right. After that meeting, then we'll know how we can kind of bring everybody together and have everyone work together on this, because that's what we got.
We'll have this as a follow-up next meeting. What is the date? It's Monday,
March 14th.
Okay. Great. All right. Membership outreach. Thank you, Susan, for sending around that information. I put it on our local neighborhood chat room. And I got a couple of very nice thank yous for being on the committee without any volunteers to join the committee.
Well, I did invite someone from the Green Thumbs to, I'm not sure if she's interested in speaking, but I think Dory indicated she might be interested. And I thought she'd be a fantastic asset because she knows Concord so well.
Yep.
I'm not sure she's going to follow up, but Dory, did you want to say anything?
Don't have to put Dory on the spot if you want to.
But let me just say, I am really spending a lot of time right now getting ready for the Green Thumbs planting season. I'm co-chair of the Mandrioli Park, but also to try and get this whole issue of Junction Park settled, because it's multiple levels, and it's really, I think, as important as anything that I could be doing right now. But once that's done, I would be really enjoy being a part of this group, because I do like all that you're doing. And as I say, I've lived here a long, long time, and I do love West Concord, and I love the fact that it's a zone which keeps changing and moving on, and it's going in such a positive direction now with so many people like yourselves who are interested. So it would be a delight to be a part of it, but I have other things on my agenda first, but I'll keep it.
Dory,
Thank you.
we'll be looking for your volunteer card.
Oh, that's right. Yes, that's
Keeping
right.
an eye out for it. But thank you for all the work you do so far. It's really appreciate the work that you do. Okay, anybody else on member outreach? All right, liaison updates.
I'll go first. So Marcia knows this. I attended the EVC meeting, Economic Vitality Committee. I joined late and left early because it was between work meetings for me. But what I did pick up was they're discussing. It seemed like recommendations they were making to the select board. One recommendation was, and maybe Marcia will correct me if I'm wrong on any of these points, but recommending an economic vitality officer to be on the select board, including the economic vitality committee voice in the hiring of town staff, and then streamlining permitting for businesses. So they were kind of on like sort of extended debates about how to kind of improve the support for local businesses from the town. And after that, I had to drop off, but that's what I sort of noted from the meeting today.
The only thing I would correct there is that it was having economic vitality person as part of the senior management team. So there are department heads who are part of our senior management team, and making that a person at the table with that group.
And attending select board meetings?
No.
No connection to the select board.
Right.
Okay.
So would that be someone who would hire in to the town structure and be also, and would be representing the businesses in town?
There was still working out what that position actually would, it's sort of a liaison ombudsman position, and trying to figure out ways to improve the climate for businesses, promoting their growth, promoting new business in the community. So it was, and as well improving relationships within, between departments, between boards and committees. And sometimes they feel that certain boards don't really support businesses, or the way the information is the permitting process is challenging, is not very welcoming. So how can that be better? And they were thinking that if a person was hired specifically for that purpose, that it would improve the situation for businesses.
Is that something that we're trying to get included in the budget, or?
Not this year. They came to the table late, and the select board and the town manager do not want to create a new position with ARPA funding. They want it to become part of the budgeting process. But the town manager was saying that she would be open to some new initiatives or projects, such as having a consultant come on board or assist with different things or provide training. So those are the types of things that they would be able to do at this point in time using the ARPA funding. That's the recovery funds that the town was receiving. And then look at next fall when we start our budget process to make sure that there is a position in there for this type of person. They've got several events happening with the Concord Business Partnership, with some work that the town staff is that I'm working on with the Visitor Center, Economic Vitality Manager, and bringing those things together that might help create some momentum about creating that new position.
Great. Other comments on that? I gave my Bruce Freeman subcommittee update, so I didn't attend the regular Bruce Freeman meeting. Do other people have liaison updates?
Yes, I do. Just one quick sec so I can put a placeholder for what you just said. So I went to the WCJC DC meeting last night, and once all of the members of that committee got over their collective sorrow at my having replaced Susan, then things moved on and they talked about all kinds of interesting stuff, and it was a cool thing to watch. They're like a force of nature. So I got to see the progress on the mural that they're going to put up, which is going to go on Beharrell Street, and it's going to be really big and sounds really cool, and they're hoping to unveil it at Porch Fest in September. And then there's this whole related thing to the mural that sounds awesome and would make the walkability issues front and center, because it would potentially like bring a lot of foot traffic to West Concord. But it's not just a mural, it's like they're gonna coordinate a lecture maybe with the Concord Museum about the history of West Concord and the different industries that have been here over the years. They put together a walking tour brochure that works in conjunction with the existing West Concord Junction brochure that recently got made, and it tells you like where to go to this number on the brochure, and then it tells you what industry used to be there or what used to happen at that site. Really cool. There's these like boards that go through historically, starting from like the Native Americans to present day and what kinds of industry have been here. That's really interesting. They're going to make a sign to go at the kiosk and a video narrative to go with the mural, and all that's going to go on the website. Then they're going to like package it all up in a little box that they give to like schools and the Council on Aging and stuff, so people can do their own programming, learning and exploring that part of West Concord. And the youth theater and the CCM are going to do like musical and theater performances somehow tied into the unveiling of the mural and industry. It's just like every possible thing you can think of, and sounds so vibrant and cool. And if they unveil it and then begin all that in September, it's just like going to be a cool thing to see, and like super educational for me. I've only lived here for 5 years and I didn't know most of what they were talking about, and it was just fascinating. And there was a question asked there. I don't know if Ed Feathers got in touch with you, but he was wondering if you've solicited artists to participate in it seemed like you're coordinating something for the May spring into West Concord event, and he is interested in knowing if you are collecting interested artists for that.
Yes, we definitely are.
So you might want to touch base with him. I think it sounded like he might be an interested artist.
Officially, the flyer, we're doing just so you know, officially the Fowler Library and Artscape, the Bradford Mill, we're doing a call for art from Concord. So it's any art, drawings, photographs, paintings of Concord today. And the idea is they'll be shown at Bradford Mill just before Spring into West Concord Day, and there'll be a free opening on a Thursday night before that. And then after a month in June, they'll move to Fowler Library. So
that's cool.
And so I can forward the flyer, but the flyer officially isn't going to go out till March 7th.
Oh, okay. I think he was concerned he might have missed a call for
No,
interest.
he didn't.
I guess that's it. Another topic that came up that, two more topics. One is that there's going to be a cool mural, I guess, on the facade of the new Deborah's, which will be beautiful on Commonwealth Ave. And also they're doing a mural on the kind of parking lot corner at the back of Fowler Library that's going to like involve participation from like kids and adults in the community. There's going to be days where you can go to Fowler and basically create a little flower that has a poetry verse on it, and then that's all going to be somehow made part of this mural that's going to go on the building itself, which sounds super cool. And that is happening. I don't know when it begins, but Fridays at like 1 p.m. at Fowler. And then the other thing they mentioned was the Visit Concord website. I don't know that this is exactly within our wheelhouse, but they said that the Visit Concord website offers local businesses, like they can have a free web page there advertising their business. And one of their members mentioned that only something like 7 of the businesses located in West Concord have taken advantage of that. So I don't know if it's that they don't know about it or
What's it called?
the Visit Concord website.
Visit
So
Concord? Okay.
I don't know if that's something like John is a liaison to the Economic Vitality Committee. I don't know if they are West Concord specific, but if any of you interact with West Concord businesses or business owners, that might be something to encourage them to do. Because I guess it's easy to do and it's free. The website like template is already there, but very few people have requested to have their information added to it.
Sorry, what's the template, Amy?
Marsha might know more than I do. What my understanding was that this is a pre-made existing website and all they have to do is like send the image that they want or the content and someone else creates the website for them with their like, pictures or I'm not sure,
like on
but
the
it's
Concord, Mass.
on the
like,
Visit
website?
Concord.
It's the Visit Concord. Yeah, it's the tourism site.
Yeah, that's cool. Okay, well, maybe I'll bring that up at the next EVC meeting. They probably do. Those are pretty sophisticated folks over there.
Other comments for liaison updates, other liaison updates? Anyone? All right. Move on to public comment. Any public comment? Let's see if I have any hands up. I don't see any hands up. If not, I'll make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second that.
Second, I vote to adjourn.
Approve.
No objections that I can see.
Approve.
All right, folks. Well, thank you very much. We will talk to you next month. And hopefully folks will be able to get an update on a couple of these issues in next month, especially after the March 14th meeting. So thank you very much, everybody.